We've got more Baker Mayfield news on this edition of the Bucs Breakdown by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks, our friends over there. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But Baker Mayfield spoke to the media today, and he had some choice words, which, honestly, I don't disagree with. We'll get into that. But just be honest with me. If you're tired of the Baker Mayfield contract talks, just hit the like button on today's show because I am really tired of seeing what Baker says, then finding out more information that just starts to piss me off because I'm like, just pay the guy. Like that's really what I'm thinking right now. But if you're really tired of it and you're in the same boat as me, make sure you hit the like button. Lets me know that you are tired of the Baker Mayfield contract talks. All right, so Baker was talking at the press conference after practice today, and then was also talking with Jeremy Fowler, which we'll get into at the back half of today's show. But he was talking about how he feels disrespected and undervalued. And honestly, I kind of see where he's coming from. So let's break down what Baker had to say because there's going to be a lot of quotes. There's going to be a lot of reading about what Baker Mayfield said because I don't want to get anything wrong. I want to take it straight from his mouth, from the press conference, right to you guys. And we're going to talk about it and break it down because that's what this show is all about. So let's get into it. Baker on his contract talks. I wanted a deal done and set the deadline and told them it was going to be all ball after that. And I did mean that. And I don't know if they thought I was just going to take some of the offers they gave, but I'm at that point of my career and understanding what I brought to this franchise. One, I'm very, very grateful for the chance they gave me. Do not get me wrong on that. But I also really know what I've brought to this franchise leadership-wise and even play-wise. It's been some of the best years of my career, and I think it's only going to trend upwards. Just feeling comfortable in feeling that. So disappointing in that regard to feel disrespected a bit. And that's really the disappointing part, to feel undervalued after thinking you've earned it. It's getting ridiculous. The guy is explaining how he feels disrespected and undervalued by the team who gave him a chance after the Tom Brady era. Pay the man. Pay the man. I'm sure he's not looking for anything drastic. And if he's really your guy, pay him, right? Like, that's sort of what this whole thing is about. Like, the last 4 years, the last 3 years in Tampa especially, he's had great years. Like, he's not wrong in saying that he's been playing the best of his career. Like, in 2024, Liam Cohen, that was his best year of his career. Over 70% completion percentage, 41 touchdowns on 16 interceptions. He's had the best years with the Bucs. And they brought him in on a one-year deal. A one-year deal, a prove-it deal, and he proved himself. And then now he has to prove himself again? Feels unfair to Baker Mayfield, right? Maybe it's just me. Maybe, behind closed doors, it's a little different. I don't know, guys. I feel like he's been a great leader, a great quarterback for this team after an interesting end to the Tom Brady era, right? And we kind of were like, all right, what's going on now? What do we have? Honestly, I just want your thoughts on the whole Baker Mayfield question or situation. I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm not going to be all this and that, the YouTube slander or the YouTube gender, whatever it is. Just give me your thoughts in the comment section because I really don't know what to do anymore because each time it comes out, and he did say that he's like, I'm done talking about it after this, but he's going to answer some questions. But, let me know what you think down in the comment section. While you let me know what you think down in the comment section, I want to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you guys are looking for a place to win some money while watching your favorite sports, get over and get started with our friends over at Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app, as well as mine since 2022. The app is actually really simple to use. I've talked about it before. Just pick for player picks. You can pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. That's it. Now, I do have a lineup coming up for tonight in the W. This is actually so much fun because when there's no real sports on, I shouldn't say real sports. That's not a crazy thing to say. I'm saying like real football on, right? Because we got the Hall of Fame game coming up in a little bit and next week, but like you get to experience watching some other sports and it's great to do so because we're watching the W tonight. I got $10 to win 37.50. Now we got Asia Wilson, the more on her points, and then we got Brianna Stewart, the more on her assists. Now that's a demon, so that increases the multiplier a little bit because I'm doing the demon with the goblin to even it out a little bit, and then Sabrina and Askew, I'm doing the more on her points as well. Now on the social feeds feature, you can actually copy that lineup. At Reed Barkus is my username, so if you want to copy that lineup for tonight, please go ahead and do so on Prize Picks. Now, best of all, play your first $5 lineup, and you can get $150 in lineups if you win that $5 lineup. Just use code HMA when you get signed up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join than right now. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at signup to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 or more lineup. Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app now. All right, let's get back into it. This is not a poor me thing. There's a lot of other people who have it a lot worse off. But I can sit here and look at other quarterbacks and peers and evaluate myself based on that and put myself in certain categories that I deserve to be compensated for. This is the thing that pisses me off. Like, you can look at other places in the NFL, right? You can look at, Jalen Hurts is making $51 million a year. He's a Super Bowl quarterback who's brought the Eagles to the Super Bowl and is a very good quarterback and not as old as Baker Mayfield, but like there are places you can look to see like get him what he deserves. Like he deserves a compensating contract for what he's done for this organization. If I'm wrong about that, then you think I'm wrong. Like I just know I'm not though. Because the leadership that he brings to this, like that is what pisses me off is you're kind of just forgetting what Baker Mayfield has done. Yes, recency bias. Like he didn't have a great 2025 season, but he was dealing with some injuries. Now, the offense was a little bit interesting, right? But you can't tell your quarterback one thing and then do the other, right? You can't say, "Oh, he's our guy. Like we want him, and we want you to be our franchise quarterback. He's the future," and then be like, "Yeah, but we're not going to give you a contract extension. We're going to figure stuff out and try and negotiate and blah blah blah." You can't say one thing and then do the other. You're lucky that Baker Mayfield is as good of a guy as he is to not like blow up on this. He's saying he feels disrespected and undervalued. He's just speaking his opinion, and I'm here for it, right? If he's your guy, pay him what he deserves. I think he deserves around what he's asking. Now we'll get to what Jeremy Fowler had said at the end of today's show because he talked to Baker Mayfield about, where they were in terms of the not being close, and it pisses me off even more. So let's continue with what Baker Mayfield had to say. But I said the deadline was the deadline. I addressed the team to let them know I meant that. That's all ball. I'm with these guys. I think all the guys that have been here know exactly who I am. The guys that are new here, I wanted to address that because they might have had a notion prior to coming here about who I am as a person. But it's all team. It's all about winning here now, and that's what we're going to do. When you have a guy like Baker talking about how badly he wants to win with your team, how can you not do well by him? Is that a crazy thing to say? Or like he's like, yeah, I understand the whole business side of the NFL, but I want to win. Once negotiations are done, I'm ready to take this team into February and win with this team. How can you not look at that and be like, that's exactly what we're looking for, a quarterback that does that, and be like, you know what? Let's bite the bullet and pay him the money he deserves. Seems like a crazy idea, right, guys? So, speaking of Jeremy Fowler and what he had to say. So, him and Baker Mayfield, they had an interview after practice today. Baker Mayfield tells ESPN the Bucs offered him a 2-year deal, which was probably the most disappointing part. Wanted long-term commitment. Added, Bucs were pretty far from the $50 million per club, which he wanted to enter. I'd feel disrespected too. When you have guys like the Glazers, the entire Glazer family, Joel Glazer, We got Jason Light. We got Todd Bowles. Everyone in that front office saying, he's our guy. He's our franchise quarterback. We want him for the future. And then you go, yeah, but only 2 years. This next year and then the year after that. And then, you go ahead. What? That's what I was saying about you can't say one thing and then do the other. If he's your guy and he's your franchise quarterback, pay him that money. It's only going to get more expensive, guys. I would feel disrespected too if I was Baker Mayfield, because this is what I've been saying the entire 3 years is even, I think, it's on the lower side in terms of if he's your franchise quarterback, prove it. You can't just talk, and then when it comes down to giving him the money and giving him the contract, you let him go into training camp, and then the deal is not done. Like, $165 million, $55 million a year, guaranteed money is just over $80 million. That's a fair contract for a guy like Baker Mayfield. That would put him in the top 10 quarterback paid. It doesn't even have to be that much. Like, he was looking to get closer to be in that $50 million range. And they weren't even close to $50 million. He should be getting paid more than Brock Purdy, more than Justin Herbert, more than Trevor Lawrence. What he's done for this team, and he's been to the playoffs with this team almost every single year of his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, he's a great quarterback, right? But it gets even worse. It gets even worse. Or better? I don't know. This is just, like, I don't know if this is better or worse, or if it's just like a jab at the front office, but this is what Baker had to say. On money being a motivation, he said, no, money should never be the motivation in football. It's how do I help this team win? That's never going to be the motivation for me. When it comes to having a chip on your shoulder and all that, for me, it just puts me in the mindset of betting on myself. And that's something I'm pretty familiar with. And that's a good place to be. As a high competitive guy, sometimes you have to put yourself back into a corner and fight your way out. But I have a lot of guys and a lot of staff around me that are with me. So I'm not alone in it. We're fighting for the same goal, and that's to be playing in February. You got a guy talking like that about money's not a motivator, and then you can, oh my God, it just pisses me off. But before I talk a little bit more about that, does Baker Mayfield deserve to be paid $50 million plus per year? Yes or no? That's what we're talking with Jeremy Fowler. What came out with that of they're not even close to 50 mil. I thought we're starting at 50 mil. So let me know down in the comment section. I want to know what you guys have to say. For me, it's an easy yes. It's an easy yes. If you think about, let's just think about the 2027 quarterback class is nowhere near as good as Baker Mayfield. The 2028 class, nowhere near as good as Baker Mayfield. Yeah, he's a veteran quarterback in the NFL already. Obviously, they're going to be better. He's going to be better. I'm talking about, like, the future of this team is better with Baker Mayfield as the franchise quarterback rather than betting on a rookie, right? Yes, you'll pay him less money, but the fact that you can pay him more than $50 million a year, you can. And the fact that you're not even talking to Vita Vea about his contract negotiations and, like, you're not even close with him either, the cornerstone of your team, at least get Baker Mayfield on your good side and be like, yeah, let's start at 50 mil, see where it goes. I'm sure Baker would be like, absolutely. He's a reasonable guy. He bet on himself. You don't want to go against Baker Mayfield when he's betting on himself. He's going to get to the end of this year. If you don't franchise tag him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone. And he's like, I'm going to go bet on myself on a different team because I know I can do it already. It just pisses me off. Get the deal done. He's going to ball out this year. He knows he's going to ball out this year. And you're going to be pissed when you have to pay him $65 million a year because he balled out and he's probably an MVP candidate. And then you're going to look back to this point and be like, man, we probably should have extended him, right? Sorry for the rant, everyone. Thank you so much for watching to the end of today's show. Please voice your comments and your opinions down in the comment section. I want to see what you guys have to say because as a fan, I'm pissed. So, as always, fire the cannons.